Biggest mismatch in history. Well, Australia, of course, are the overwhelming favourites, but they do well to remember their semi-final of 8 years ago and not underestimate the batty. Wales led 22-14 in the second half in 2000, and the Aussies eventually won by 46-22. But Darren Lockyer knows that on that occasion, the Welsh gave them an almighty fright. And what a moment for Wes Ngama and his Fijian teammates. This meeting, it really has provided the fairy tale story of the World Cup. And though there will be little charity on show from the Kangaroos, they want to win the World Cup on home soil, as you say, John, for the first time in 31 years. But I must say, the Fijians have emerged from their dressing room and they look calm and they look at peace with the world. I know that they, I'm sure, are aware of what is about to hit them and what's about to face them, but this is the biggest night of those fellows' lives. They've already won a prize fund of $300,000, and you can imagine what that means to somebody who earns around about $250 for a win in their domestic competition. Well, before the match we have the national anthems, of course. Fiji first, from members of the Fiji Parish Canterbury Choir. Well, if passion, faith and belief wins rugby league matches, the Fijians are in the World Cup already. But the Kangaroos, of course, face them here today. And now the national anthem of Australia, which is going to be sung tonight by Jeremy Hewitt.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australians expected to advance to the World Cup final, but if this competition has made an impact anywhere, it certainly has done in Fiji. They have sold out of satellite dishes so that the locals can watch this semi-final on television back home. And this is their usual pre-match ritual, prayers and songs before they take on the opposition. They will hit them with an element of surprise, and Steve, of their Harlem Globetrotters mentality will mean they're aiming for a minor miracle here.
Well, they certainly believe in it, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful road that they've gone down in this World Cup. And the mere fact that, to me, that Fiji have made it, has made it all worthwhile. There's been a lot of knockers about this competition, but I can assure you the wonderful feeling that they have, and what it does for the islands of Fiji is absolutely amazing. You've already mentioned the fact that all the satellite dishes have been sold out, but what it means to rugby league in that country, it is a wonderful step forward. They've always been under the cosh from the opposition in the rugby union, but this is their night of glory, and they've got nothing to lose. They'll keep the ball alive.
Nothing at all, Phil. David and Goliath mentioned in the build-up, and this is the modern day David and Goliath.
So nice to see people so proud of their heritage, and we saw their anthem and their pre-match ritual there. I think also we're going to see probably the try of the tournament here tonight. Whether it comes from Fiji with their free-flowing style or the skill from Australia, this will be special.
The Australians get us underway then. Fiji have got 80 minutes to prove to the rest of the world that they deserve to be here. Jared Hayne with the first drive forward from fullback, and he plays the ball, and they've already conceded possession.
That was stolen by Cameron Smith. Just a little bit of nerve showing on the Fijians.
This is Petro Sivanasiva, and how ironic that a Fijian-born Australian superstar is playing against his fellow countrymen here tonight. Now Stephen Price trying to swat the would-be tacklers away from him. Good work in the defence from the Fijians. 20 metres away, Australia, with Cameron Smith at dummy half. He goes right, and here is Sivanasiva again. Good tackle low down that was by Sadrau. Now Cameron Smith, they find Lockyer. Lockyer switches the direction. Thurston back on the inside. Billy Slater on one knee, gets the ball away. First try of this World Cup semi-final, and it's Paul Gallen. Paul Gallen right under the sticks. Australia 4, Fiji 0. An air of inevitability about it, I know, but it's cruel for the Fijians. They lost the ball on only the second tackle of the match, and you don't do that against a team like this.
Beautiful play, though, the way that they switched it from one side to the other. Thurston, you can see the Fijian defence, they stood back, they were waiting for it, and the skill factor of Billy Slater, absolutely superb. Good work by Jared Hayne to get him down, but look at the ability to offload. And Gallen, the loose forward, dives in for the first try. We mentioned the fact that Fiji, very nervous there, the way that Cameron Smith snatched the ball away.
Yes, it was stolen from the prop forward Vonamataratu, and the Fijians were on the back foot from that moment on. So an early try for Australia, an inevitable early try, and here is Jonathan Thurston, 7 from 8 against Papua New Guinea last week, to try and add the extras, and that is academic as well. Great start for the Kangaroos and world champions, a shocker for Fiji.
Well, it's a play that we haven't seen for probably 10 years in rugby league. Every side was doing this a decade ago, switching the ball from one side to the other and then hitting fast men down the middle of the play of the ball. Typically the fullback behind the first runner to Billy Slater. Great footwork, he keeps the arms free, and nice support from the loose forward. I wonder whether that's an indication of how Australia are going to prepare to play against New Zealand, Eddie, by taking them on in the middle of the field. England attempted to shift the ball wide to centres, but couldn't really exploit any gaps in the New Zealand defence out wide. Perhaps Australia will take them down the middle.
Let's make a quick visit to the sideline. Here's Bill.
Eddie, great support for Fiji here tonight. Mentioned the fact that there's loads of people wanting to watch this match back in Fiji. There are loads of people watching this game in Rochdale back in England. Of course, Rochdale has a long tradition of Fijian rugby league involvement. First Fijians to play the game, to leave the country, came to Rochdale back in the 60s. I know they're all watching back in Rochdale, so Nisa Bula to you all there. Let's hope that things improve.
And not improving at the moment, because this is Thurston. He hacks the ball into the in-goal area, and it's just swung away dead by Semi Tajulala. Lockyer was chasing that. The Australians are just cutting them to shreds, aren't they? You would expect this.
Sheer quality. The dummy there from Jonathan Thurston. Wonderful talent. So much talent throughout this Australian side. In fact, some of the Australian greats over the past 30 years are even suggesting, would you believe, that this Australian lineup is one of the all-time best.
Well, I heard you say that in the pre-match build-up to this game, Steve-O, and how they can say that in 2008 when, frankly, the Australians have yet to be tested in this World Cup, but just beggars belief.
I think the whole attitude of the Australians, the way that they are so compact, they've got so much pace and power in the forwards, but they've also got wonderful centres and wingers.
They have, there is no doubt about that, and we hold our hands up as far as that is concerned, in the way that they have swept the opposition aside. The one thing that I know New Zealand are hopeful for next weekend in the final is that Australia haven't really been tested in this competition yet. They played Papua New Guinea, they're playing Fiji here in this semi-final, they brushed England aside, they brushed the Kiwis aside first time up. I mean, just look at this, the way they're spinning out of the tackles. But in the end, that is Bukuya who got to Thurston, and here now is Lockyer. Lockyer to Slater, they go wide, it's Tate, it's the second try. It's the second try for Australia from Brent Tate. It's a 10-0 scoreline here, we're in the 6th minute, and I'm afraid the omens do not look good for the men from Fiji.
Well, this is perhaps the reason why a lot of those former greats suggest that they are very good, mainly due to this man that's just offloaded the ball, Darren Lockyer. They've got so much pace out wide. Tate gets in at the corner, but they are so creative. You just look at the Australian attacking line. They stand so deep. We haven't seen any other side do that in this World Cup competition.
I agree with you 100%, but also, Phil, they are being allowed to play in this World Cup, aren't they, the Australians?
Well, I wonder whether they haven't been challenged because they've improved faster than England or New Zealand or any other side in the world. Their rate of improvement, we sometimes think, are we getting any better when we consider our own talent pool, and I think we probably are improving, but our rate of improvement might not be as quick as what we've seen out here. And Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Israel Folau, Darren Lockyer, they would have to be considered, Eddie, as possibly Australia's greatest ever players. Maybe not definitely yet, but they're certainly of a standard.
And they've got time on their side, haven't they? Inglis is 21, Folau is 19 in the centres. Jonathan Thurston here, only 25, winning his 10th cap tonight. Difficult kick for him here.
But they are so creative. They make space. It's a sign of a very, very good side, a brilliant side. This was a tough one for him.
It is. And he's just missed. Well, Tate with the second try, Australia 10-0 to the good. 7 minutes of the semi-final goal.
Eddie, one of the reasons why they are so good is because they start games so quickly. Look at the wonderful skill out wide to find the man to score the try. But at this point in the game, less than 10 minutes gone, Australia have made 2 tackles in this match, and Fiji have attempted to make over 20. The beginnings to matches are so dominant.
Sivanasiva runs the ball out. That's better defence from the Fijians. Coming in a huddle to try and bring them down and stop their progress forward. They do it again.
Another factor you've got to put into this Australian outfit is that they are very low on error counts.
Oh, here goes Thurston again through the gap, but he's got Slater in support. But he's going on his own. No, he isn't. He's given it inside to Monaghan, and he had to be clawed to the ground and was. Thurston now, Lockyer, another try begging here, another try begging here for Lafranchi. Halted just a couple of metres short of the line, still 2 tackles in the back, ball pops up, ball bounces back, Lockyer picks it up. Here now is Folau on that far side. Good tackling by the winger, Tadulala. Gallen, try scorer, just a few moments ago. Ball is kept alive, and you see the Australians have another set of 6 here. Thurston gives it to Slater, he slips under the would-be challenge of Uati. And on the bounce it finds its way to Stewart. Stewart is wrestled to the ground. Jared Hayne there wearing number 1 for the Fijians. New South Wales State of Origin player. That's easy. And there is another try for Slater, or is it? The referee, Ashley Klein, will hand it upstairs to the video referee. The video referee is Stephen Clark tonight, and he has a decision to make.
Well, the ability yet again of Australia to keep this ball alive and the option of the kick. Billy Slater knew exactly what was happening. The coordination between the green and gold side is outstanding. Now then, yeah, it looks okay from that angle. And in fact, he was impeded there by Noilier.
Doesn't he push him illegally?
Well, it looks as though 50-50. Under a lot of pressure, and in fact it looks as though he may have lost this, Slater. I think you'll find that Millard got it first and then Slater took it back off him. I think this will be given, unless he's shown to be offside. He's pretty quick. It's that old nutmeg, isn't it? Using the shoulder when you're both running in the same direction. They were looking in the same direction. I think we'll get the nod for this. This will be the third try for Australia.
Well, Billy Slater looking up towards the big screen momentarily. If this is given, Billy Slater becomes the joint leading try scorer in this competition. Funnily enough, with Uate of Fiji, who has 5, and Damien Blanche of Ireland. Let's not forget him, he has 5. Billy Slater has 5. And Australia, they are ahead by 14 points to 0. And the expected avalanche is happening.
It's a well-oiled machine. They know exactly what's happening. You know, the build-up to this game, this try, sorry. You know, Jonathan Thurston took the ball with one hand and had his mouth guard in the other. And before anyone could get anywhere near him, he put the mouth guard in, said, "Thank you very much indeed," and then got the ball away. Superb play.
Billy Slater plays down in Melbourne, which is a very strong Aussie rules area, and has actually spent time with Australian rules coaches in perfecting the art of catching the ball high up in the air, which we often see in Aussie rules, and it's the reason why he scored so many tries in that manner, and a perfect example of how he did it then. You know, we still get players catching the ball on the chest back in the UK, but the level now, everybody says that the bar is raised each year, and the catching zone, Eddie, is higher than it was 2 years ago.
I think we saw that many years ago with Greg Brentnell. Of course, he came from the south area of New South Wales, which is infiltrated into across the border into Victoria, which is the Australian rules, and he was an expert at bringing the ball down.
Well, they've gone back in time maybe, but they've also, as you say, Phil, they've also lifted the bar, the Australians. Well, look, if you enjoy flowing rugby league, and we haven't seen anything yet from this Harlem Globetrotter team called Fiji, but we've seen plenty from Australia, I think you're in for a real treat this morning back home. Australia 16-0, and you can just admire the skills of this team in the green and gold.
And you'll see a few big hits as well, especially from the second rower from the Fiji side. Ashton Sims is a big unit, puts himself about.
Is Israel Folau talking of big units, the teenager. From Melbourne as well. He had a sensational couple of years in the game, has Israel Folau. Now then, the Fijians with ball in hand for the first time in a while. It's Uate. Exciting winger, this young fellow. He's only 21. He comes from Newcastle Knights. And I know, Phil, that Joey Johns recognises this fellow as one of the real stars of the future.
Well, I think in either court of rugby, he's the most exciting player in the world. I just hope he gets a chance today. It's difficult when you're playing in a side that's had, what, less than 10% of the possession of this match. Australia have been so dominant, and I do admire Australia. When everybody in the world's telling you that you're going to win a game easily, it's pretty hard to get yourself up for that match. But Australia have shown in the opening 10 minutes that they can rise to the occasion, and they've demonstrated with a 16-point lead that mentally they are the best side in the world.
Here comes their skipper, Wes Nagama. He made 46 metres, they're just inside the Australian half of the field. The kick downfield from Jared Hayne finds its way into touch, and the scrum will go down. It'll be head and feed to Australia, but look at the number of Fijians that are in this crowd here tonight. Okay, the Australian public in the main might have turned their back on this semi-final. The Fijian supporters here haven't.
Yeah, they've been quite superb, and as I say, the effect it will have on the Fijian Islands is superb. I mean, Jared Hayne, he has not had the best season, but he has really come to the fore in this World Cup. Played exceptionally well, and let's see whether the Fiji defence is up to it now.
Yeah, off-field problems blew Jared Hayne off course a little, but he played for Australia itself not too long ago, and he is a New South Wales State of Origin star in the past also, and he is only 20 years of age, another young man who I suppose in years to come, if you look at the Petra Sivanasiva jigsaw, they might be calling on him again, Phil.
I think so, wouldn't it be the case? Nice pass there, but it's a judge forward to Sivanasiva.
It was as well spotted there by Ashley Klein. Just handled up a little bit. It just shows you the problems that the Fijian defence have in and around the ruck area. They've been sucked into the dummy half. The offload, not the best, and they'll be somewhat relieved. No doubt about it.
Eddie, and this is the first chance Fiji are going to have to attack. Look, they're starting the set 35 metres from Australia's line. I hope they've got some energy left, having defended for the last 13 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Here is the loose forward Bukoya, and he plays the ball there to the hooker, who was Sukanabeta. He gets the ball away. The Fijians just at 22 metres away. Trundling run forward by Sadrau, the prop forward.
Well, if Fiji score, we'll get the biggest cheer of the night, I'm telling you that.
That's Aaron Groom. He gets the ball away again to Bonamataratu. They're 9 metres from the line now. 4 tackles gone. Do they have something in the locker here, the Fijians? Going wide. Last tackle for them. Kick to the in-goal area. Oh, bounces off the legs of Lockyer. But Lockyer, he was the first to react. He shouted for that. And he was the man who took control of that particular situation. Here they come again. They've had a little bit of time on their own line. Now they're coming forward with Inglis. He's lost it.
We'll put the scrum down. I'm not so sure that he lost it. I think there might have been a finger in there, but it doesn't matter. The Fijian fans, they're quite happy. And he's a real will-o'-the-wisp, this fella, Aaron Groom. Well, the first error from Australia, but I think you'll find on the replay there's just a little bit of a hand goes into it here. I don't like to see any player carry the ball like that.
Fiji are in possession here with the hooker, Sukanabeta. This now is Daryl Millard. Sukanabeta again from dummy half, picks the ball up one-handed. Defended to give it to Bukoya, but gets ever closer to the Kangaroos line. That's Millard. They go down the left-hand side. Here's Ashton Sims. 4 metres away now, Fiji. It's Nolia. Gives it a bit of width. Back on the inside, the runner is Koroy. It's the last tackle here for Fiji. Jared Hayne waits dummy half. Will he slide the ball to the in-goal area? He will, but that was easy for Slater.
Wonderful positioning there by Billy Slater. It's as though he just read the script. Simple as that. To see the build-up, got to the last. Little chip in the corner by Jared Hayne. Such a talent.
Great handling skills. Wonderful ball from Lockyer to Falau. On it goes wide to Brent Tate. This fella has got all the pace in the world. He's past the last line of defence. He's in the in-goal area. He'll bring it back underneath the posts. Second try for Brent Tate. From defence to attack in the blink of an eye. They are a magnificent team, but I repeat, they have not been tested yet. Lockyer, by the way, is down in back play, which is a matter of some concern for Australia, and he is receiving treatment. He was hit in the build-up to this fantastic try from Brent Tate you're watching now.
The ability of Darren Lockyer to change from defence into attack, irrespective of where you are on the field of play. We've mentioned it throughout this World Cup. He has this ability to be, it's as though he's on roller skates. We don't know how he received that injury. It was a beautiful pass that sent Falau through, and then of course he fed the winger Tate.
But he's back on his feet, as you see, Darren Lockyer. Looks like he might have got a bang in the chest. I think Bill could give us a report on him. Bill?
Yeah, it's badly winded by the look of things, Darren Lockyer. The wind really knocked right out of him as he delivered the pass. He got the man at the same time, and the signal though has gone out from the physio there. You can see out in the field that he's going to be okay. Give him 5 minutes, I think, was the message, and it'll take a lot more than that to get Darren Lockyer out of the game.
Well, for a moment there was an element of concern for the Australians, but not now. The captain is on his feet, and Thurston adds the extras, and Australia are 22-0 up. It's more than a point a minute.
Sheer quality, the ability to offload as well. good work there by the second row, Stewart. But look at the pass there. Nothing in it.
And that was a shocking challenge, actually, from Noilier on Darren Lockyer as we watch this run down the wing from Tate.
Sheer speed.
And I think Ashley Klein actually has called Noilier to him. And it's gone on report. The referee, Ashley Klein, has given the signal. That will be viewed again by the disciplinary committee. It was very late. Oh, there's invention for you. Did well there, Jared Hayne. Short kick-off, caught Australia on the back foot. There's a hint for Stephen Kearney. Next week.
Ricky Stewart will be furious over that. He knows the game's well and truly wrapped up. I don't think anybody in the world would expect a Fijian side to come back from 22-0 down, but he will be saying, you've got to keep your minds on the job.
Nice invention, though, from Fiji, isn't it? And this is Koroi. He gets to his feet. That is Sukunaveta. That's Aaron Groom. Here is Wes Nagama. And tackled by Inglis and Thurston. Last one for Fiji. Aaron Groom again. Stabs the ball to the in-goal area, but that's easy for Thurston. He follows up, though, does Groom. Gets the tackle in. No progress forward for the Australian scrum half.
Cast your mind back to Monday evening when Fiji was so good at trapping Ireland in that in-goal area. I think there were 4 goal line dropouts that they forced the Irish to make in the 25-minute period of the second half, and it just goes to show how good Australia are at defending that player. They put players in the right position to prevent the ball going in goal.
And they're up to the third tackle. This will be tackle number 4. They're midway inside their own half of the field. There's a change coming. Long kick downfield, but well fielded by Jared Hayne.
Look at the change. So there are 6 to handle the fullback.
Change for the Fijians as well. And looking down on the side, Brent Kite is preparing to come on, the man we just saw.
Good run from the winger Iwate.
Here's Semi Tajulala of the Bradford Bulls. Oh, he tried to get the ball away to Storer, the substitute just on. Oh, problems for Tate. Problems for Brent Tate. He's gone down in a heap. No one near him. Now then.
Looks like a hip adductor, doesn't it?
This is a problem for Australia and Brent Tate with the World Cup final next Saturday looming. Nobody near Brent Tate then. Just watch. Something just gave. There, look at the agony on his face. Down he goes.
Certainly a pull muscle of some sort. No one anywhere near him. And then it just went.
No problem for Tate, obviously.
There's no point in risking the man.
Well, he's staying out there for the time being. They have just made a change. Sivanasiva off for this man, Brent Kite. This, meanwhile, is Stewart. Plays the ball quickly. Cameron Smith. Gallen it is for the Kangaroos. Being hunted by 3. Ashton Sims in 11 was one of them.
During this first quarter, Australia have very rarely gone just one up. It's been running on the angle, inside pass, very creative.
Lockie's recovered from the bang he'd taken. They still have it, keeping the ball alive. Gallen hacks the ball forward to the in-goal area, and that will trickle dead. And Fiji, they weather the storm. Problems for Tate, Bill.
Yeah, he's leaving the field. He tried to stay on, and when that last attack was launched by the Aussies, he just took off. Well, he went a couple of paces, pulled up, turned, signalled to the bench, no, I can't go on, and he's leaving the field now. So that is a problem, and Tate, well, that could be a major doubt now for the World Cup final.
There's only 6 days away. Carmichael Hunt is the man who comes on. He was substitute against England in Melbourne, and he started last week against Papua New Guinea.
They need to play the ball a lot quicker, Fiji. There is Tate going back into the dressing room. And we'll be explaining what happened to the club, the doctor.
Jason Bukuya plays the ball. Here now is Sadrau. I suppose, even at this early stage, 22 minutes gone, 22 points to the good Australia, will Ricky Stewart have said, let's see if we can keep a big fat 0 against that Fijian name.
Yeah, that's the incentive for the side. And it's pretty harsh on them, is Ricky Stewart. He likes to keep the error count down well below 5. That's all he'll expect.
Here's a penalty for Australia just to help them a little bit further forward. And Aaron Groom called out by referee Ashley Klein. Bit of a high shot from Aaron Groom. Plays for the Canterbury Bulldogs. And the scrum half has been man of the match for Fiji in 3 games. It wasn't. Was it him? No, they lifted him. No, they lifted him.
They lifted him above the horizontal. Just a bit of a
immediately apologised
from Ashley Klein, and rightly so. It's the power of this Australian pack, though. They get over the advantage line so easy. They never mess around at the play of the ball, do they? Again, the inside pass. They'll probably do another one. Dummy runner coming on the angle.
Stephen Price. Cameron Smith and Thurston. Gallen gives it to Lockyer, on to Thurston. Wonderful fluid movement. Slater through Groom, through the second man, through Groom again. No answer to them, have they? They're clutching at straws, just as we were last night watching England, but for different reasons. There's a mistake, though.
It was a bad one as well by Glenn Stewart.
Jared Hayne tackled, though. And there's Uate. He'll play the ball to the substitute Storer. The game, Fiji, aren't they? Where's Nagama? He plays it again to Storer. Now the hooker, Sukanaveta.
He's impressed me as well, Sukanaveta. He really works hard. Tumbles away from the dummy half position.
Over halfway in the hands of Sadrau.
Just watch this green and gold defence. Bang, look, they're there. No opportunity to offload whatsoever. The New Zealanders will be watching this very keenly indeed.
Some width for Fiji to exploit maybe with Nagama. He's through the first tackle. Where's Nagama? He has support inside. Oh, it's not the best.
Will be classified as a knock-on? No, he said play on.
Ball went backwards, he says, Ashley Klein.
Well, even the crowd don't like that decision.
Carmichael Hunt is hurt now.
Beautiful break, though, by Nagama. He's been an inspiration, their skipper, for this Fijian side.
The big thing that Australia will not want, of course, is a whole phalanx of injuries coming into this World Cup final. There's a problem here with Carmichael Hunt, look.
Well, surely that was a knock-on, the first one anyway.
Fitzgibbon is on, you see him there, number 17.
I want to raise the eyebrows of Ricky Stewart. Not the best attempt by Jonathan Thurston to try to get down Nagama.
Lockyer's kick is fielded by Jared Hayne. Plays his rugby league at Parramatta. But in this Fiji lineup, there are teams like Milton Ulladulla, Park Spaceman, Fassifern, Terrible Sharks. They provide the men who face this, the game of their lives tonight.
And they've done well to slow the green and gold machine down.
He's blowing for tugs, though, isn't he, Jared Hayne? He really is.
They've just had the best 5 minutes, though, Eddie. The last time Australia got the ball, they could only make about 30 metres in the 5 players. Admittedly, a great kick from Lockyer helped them to get downfield, but physically, the Fijians at this point in the match are matching them.
Last tackle here for the Fijians. Little dab behind the defence. Thurston has it. Oh, flicks it brilliantly then to Billy Slater. But the Fijians are there in numbers to halt the threat.
Well, there's not much about this scrum half, Aaron Groom. But he puts his body into line, doesn't he? Bang!
Well, they've suddenly got to the pace of this match, haven't they?
Well, they just couldn't get hold of the ball, could they, in the opening 10 minutes? And they were blitzed on several occasions. Another great feature for Australia, and it comes about because of their coach, Ricky Stewart. They share the workload. There's no one out there just having a rest. They want to be eager, but they know exactly where to position themselves.
The Fijian waiting to come on, familiar face to Super League viewers back home. Nick Bradley Kualalawa, was that a knock on by Uati? No, referee and touch judge give him the benefit of the doubt. Where's Nagama now for Fiji? It was a high pass, and it allowed the Kangaroos to close in for the kill.
Well, they've done well for the last 15 minutes of Fiji, but you soon get the impression that they are really running out of steam. Quite a few of them very slow to get back behind their own players.
Well, here's a penalty that will relieve the pressure for them. Australia caught offside, moving too quickly off the mark before the ball was played with the foot. Ashley Klein blows the whistle. Penalty to the Fijians, and this will buy them some priceless metres forward, won't it?
Certainly will, but isn't it interesting to see the way that Jonathan Thurston, typical halfback, as soon as they were penalised for offside, he turned around to Ashley Klein and pointed to his feet and said, "I was with you."
And Tate is on the sideline, ice on the top of the thigh. Wonder if next week in the final, Manly's David Williams, who scored 3 tries in his debut against Papua New Guinea, might be rubbing his hands, thinking he might get a chance in the World Cup final. He's the first player to achieve that for the Kangaroos since the former Bradford Bulls forward Brad Mackay way back in 1990. So that looks like there might be some places up for grabs, Phil, next week, the way this is going, because this, Australia are scoring tries at will for the first 20 minutes, but it's a physical battle they're in here.
And I think it will be physically draining at the end of the game for them, I've no doubt. But so too with New Zealand, who were pushed very hard by England, certainly into the last 5 minutes of the match. I would suspect that Brent Tate will be a major day. To leave the field in the manner that he did, it's very hard for, in less than 6 days, for a muscle injury like that to repair fully.
It might be a golden opportunity beckoning for David Williams. That all, of course, will be revealed, hopefully, during the course of this week by Ricky Stewart.
That's great defence by Fiji. Oh, they've offloaded. Clever stuff.
Brilliant offload.
And they play on.
A knock-on, surely.
Nope. It was dragged out.
It was dragged out, but pulled back towards the Australians' line by the Fijian. Anyway, let's give them some charity.
I'm not so sure you're right, Eddie. Not that I fall out with you often, but...
Well, he went one-on-one. There was nothing wrong with that, but it seemed to me that it was travelling towards the Fijians' line of attack. But anyway, Ashley Klein saw it another way, and that's up to him. It gives the Fijians a chance to attack this Kangaroos defence. They're in possession here with Jason Bukuya. There they are, that's where they are in the field, 25 metres away from the line. Now the substitute, Semesi Tora, met by the challenge from Glenn Stewart and Cameron Smith. Aaron Groom again, gets the ball away to Bradley Kualalawa. Last tackle though for Fiji.
Surely a kick from Groom.
Easy for Slater. The kick from James Storer was dealt with so easily by Billy Slater.
And the little halfback Aaron Groom, he was screaming for that football. He was in a better position. And the substitute Storer thought that he'd taken on his own. Not the best.
He'd win a spot the ball competition, Billy Slater, Eddie, wouldn't he? Because he's able to predict where it's going to go on every single kick, puts himself in the right position, anticipates. Great players see the game a second ahead of it's really played. There's a chance there for Fiji.
It is a mistake there, and swooped on by Fiji in the shape of Semesi Tora.
You don't say that often, do you? Darren Lockyer losing the football. He was put under pressure.
Looks a bit grim, doesn't he? Brent Tate looks a bit unhappy.
I think he knows that he could be out of the World Cup final.
Semi Tajalala struggles to his feet, plays the ball to Storer. Here comes Ashton Sims now. Storer once again impressive off the bench against Ireland on Monday night was this man. Looks for the runners, they arrive, and it's Bukuya. He'll play the ball, Stora again, back it goes to Sadrau. Thinking about the offload, taking tackle number 4 instead. Bang underneath the Kangaroos' posts. It's Stora once again. Here is Groom. Dummy gave it to Nagama. Nagama has a green and gold wall ahead of him. Where's Nagama for Fiji? So close. Couldn't get through. Last tackle here. Stora, will he dab it to the in goal? He does. The ball bounces everywhere. And Thurston to the rescue. Not out yet. Now it is. Picked up by Falau and taken over the dead ball line.
Well, that's the second occasion that James Stora has taken it upon himself to do the little kick through. Got away with that one on that occasion. Fijian support tonight is amazing.
It is magnificent inside the stadium. They're all here. All the Fijian population of Australia, I think, have travelled to Sydney.
Well, I must say, Eddie and I were walking behind the sticks earlier, around about two hours before the kickoff, and there was about 1,000 there already, and they were having a party.
That's a big hit by Carmichael Hunt, though. They're having a party. Their team aren't, although they are, I think, in a strange way, they're enjoying this biggest night of their life.
Well, they're having a great 15 minutes. Australia haven't scored. They were great in the opening quarter, but Fiji have worked their way back into it. And with the repeat set here, they've got a chance, but it's been individual efforts to try and score and go for the glory. I think a bit of team play is needed.
James Stora, dummy half again. And Ashton Sims. The ball out the back door was inventive, and Groom turned it into a decent pass. 4 tackles gone, the 12 metres away from the line. Here is Jared Hayne, long pass from him. Finds the loose forward Bukuya. He gets it away then to Millard. Millard on hands and knees, tries to get away from the would-be tacklers. Stora dabs to the in-goal area again. Stora's after the ricochet. Stora picks it up, and the referee wipes the tackle count clean. 6 to go for Fiji. They're having a glorious quarter of an hour.
And so is James Stora. That's a third on the trot. He likes to have a little kick through, this fella.
Stora once more. The cries of Fiji ring around the Sydney Football Stadium. But just less than 6 minutes to the half-time break as Stora again attacks the line. So close, Fiji, to the first try, and they'd lift the roof here if they got over. Bradley Kualalawa back to Aaron Groom. Dab to the in-goal. Monaghan tidies up. Oh, Monaghan slips the net, makes a few more valuable metres forward.
A lot of hard work that Ricky Stewart, the Australian coach, puts in this green and gold outfit. There's as much that makes sure their positional play when it comes to the last kick. And you saw there wonderful, wonderful work by Monaghan.
This is Greg Inglis, 11 tries in the colours of his country. As Aaron Groom just gingerly and looking a little bit tired makes his way back into the defensive line. Inglis, a fantastic record at this level. 11 tries, this is his 10th cap tonight, and he's managed 2 hat-tricks as well. What about this for a kick? Will it find the side? No, it won't, but it's not bad. Picked up by Semi Tajulala.
See the experience there of Darren Lockyer. He may not have the speed he had, say, 5 or 6 years ago, but when that kick came, there were 4 Australians went into the corner. Darren Lockyer went straight down to the middle and just blocked any chance of an offload. Boy, he's a great thinker.
Tora's run is halted by Fitzgibbon. Ashton Sims again for the Fijians. Having difficulty at the moment getting upfield in this particular set of 6. No way forward there either. Turned on his back is Tora, dumped to the ground.
But if Fiji can get to the half-time, should I say, at 22-0, it will be a real lift for them, because it looked as though they were going to be absolutely swept away with this green and gold invasion. And they have dug deep.
Tries, 4 of them in the first 18 minutes. Slater was one of them. Tate, who's off the field injured, got 2, and Paul Gallen got the other in the second minute. 22-0 after 18 minutes. the next 18 minutes it's been pointless. And so Fiji acquitting themselves pretty well. This is Falau. Oh, he felt that. What a hit that was from Noelia. Oh, and he's grimacing, his Falau, as he gets to his feet. I think the wind was taken well and truly out of his sails.
I got the impression there, you know, that Israel Folau took that ball a little bit too casually.
Anthony, I got it. Come on, Ashton, mate. Ashton.
Just a little bit high from Ashton Sims.
Ashton, over here, mate.
Oh, look at this. Not bad from the standoff, is it? Another party Noelia. And
a bit of nonsense from Ashton Sims on the deck.
Over the forearm.
Been given. Ashton Sims of Brisbane. It was his debut year with them, only with St George Illawarra.
He's impressed me though throughout this competition. He's worked very, very hard. That was a knock-on, surely.
Not seen if it was. Here is Fitzgibbon. It's Slater. And has Slater got the ball down for another Australian try? I think he has. Although Ashley Klein will hand it upstairs to see whether Slater's got his second try of this semi-final. The video referee is Steve Clark. He will adjudicate again on this. But Slater believes he scored, as you can see.
Pretty confident, but the build-up was outstanding. Neat interchange. Take it on the blind side. Watch as they go for what looks as though it's an inside pass. It looked as though it was going to go to Lafranchi. And Lafranchi is utilised as a dummy. Oh, that's beautiful play, isn't it? The way that the dummy runner went through made sure he made no contact with the Fijian defender, and that just is a try. This will be given, but the build-up was superb.
Well, in 1995 in the World Cup, Australia beat Fiji 66-0. In 1996 in a test match in Newcastle, they won 84-14. In the World Cup of 2000 in the UK at Gateshead, they won 66 points to 8. Matt Rogers notching 34 points. And in this first half here, Australia have 26 points. And Slater, that's his 6th try in the World Cup of 2008. And he now stands alone as the top try scorer in this competition.
And the way that this has been built up is quite superb. Watch, he come across and then the dummy runner. See how he made sure he did not make contact. So there was no possibility that they would go upstairs and the video ref could deny this try to Slater for any obstruction. That is controlled rugby league football at its best.
You know, throughout the course of 2008, I've been saying that Paul Wellens is the best fullback in the world. I think he's a very safe pair of hands for St Helens, and I think on his day he's a very safe pair of hands for England, but I think we're watching the best fullback in the world in this World Cup.
I think we also saw a try there, and the difference between Australia and many other sides in this World Cup is that they had 4 different options for the man with the ball to pass it to, and that's why the defence was so challenged. It's far harder when one man is just simply carrying the ball. That's a pretty easy thing to stop. But the numbers that they threw at the line, nice old-fashioned run around, came up, providing the space, and we talk about its later scoring, but there were some selfless runs from 2 other Australian players.
Should this match be DVD'd and sent to every English player for a look on the way home? Because
every English player, what about every English coach? I mean,
every English player in Super League, every player in Super League. This is the way to play this game, isn't it?
Look, any youngster that wants to play our great game should watch the attitude as well as the build-up to the play. You know, before this competition started, we were thinking in Britain that perhaps England, they often say that the Super League is far better to watch than what the NRL is, and that it's quite boring. Listen, when you've got a coach like Ricky Stewart, Australia are not playing anything like boring football. They're playing like the old-fashioned English-style football.
Well, a near faultless first half from Australia. Fiji, they had their moments. They had 18 minutes where they kept them scoreless, but they've run in 5 tries. And Australia, well, they're in the World Cup final already. They lead at half-time by 26 points to 0.